Welcome to the Deepers Creepers podcast, where we like to get high and talk about horror movies. I'm Casey.
And I'm Jess. And this week we are covering one of my picks, which is The Houses That October Built, which is a movie from 2014, and I'm super excited to get into it.
Yes. This is a found footage film.
My fave.
One of the best of all time. It is, to me, a modern day Blair Witch. I'll go ahead and say it. The actors feel just as natural. The characters feel just as real. The story, it's a scary film. It is fucking terrifying. And it's fun. And it's realistic. And I could actually see it happening. And I feel all that way about Blair Witch.
You know, I'm really excited to do some more found footage films with Casey that I've been watching lately that are more kind of on the underground side. And I think she's gonna have some more favorites after this movie. But for now, I'm super excited to, like I said, talk about this movie, talk about one of my personal favorite genres of horror. I know I've said that a million times on this podcast, but yeah, I really love the premise of this movie. It like you said, it feels authentic. Everything about it feels so natural,
very lived in, and it just like it stays on its premise. It has a concept. It's a group of friends going to find underground extreme haunts. We'll get more into that, and it sticks to that premise, and it doesn't try to do a whole bunch of other stuff. And it just feels like just a story. It just feels like a, you know, whatever, we've said it.
I'm trying to remember what the quote in the beginning of the movie was that I really liked.
Yeah, I can't remember what the quotes were. Have you seen the sequel to this? I have not seen. There is a Houses October Built 2.
I think I have it on DVD. I'll have to bring it over when I come over next time.
On DVD. I love that.
I'm sorry. We're older. If you don't know what a DVD is, you probably aren't old enough to be watching this podcast.
I own 2 VHS tapes. And I do not have a VCR. But I do have something that I can play DVDs on.
Good. So, it opens with, like, a black screen and a quote that says, "I'm not afraid of werewolves or vampires or haunted houses. I'm afraid of what real human beings do to other real human beings." By Walter John Williams.
Yep.
And that's true, and that's such a fun and scary way to start this film.
Yep.
You already get a sense of like, oh shit, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie is, you know, humans are the real monsters. And yes, a lot of movies say that. That is what half of the genre is about. If it's not a supernatural horror film, typically we're being like, oh, it's just a person and they're really fucked up. But this movie really does it well, and in a way that I think anytime you go to a haunted house, even if it is one of the bigger ones, but especially if it's a smaller, kind of more unknown one, there is always that fear in the back of your mind, like, what if, though?
Wouldn't it be crazy?
Wouldn't it be crazy? I'm sure I will have a lot to say about McKamey Manor, I
absolutely was thinking the same thing while watching this.
And I have seen the haunted house documentary, Haunters.
I love that documentary.
I've seen it like 2 or 3 times, so I will talk about that a lot too. I'm so glad you've seen that. Katie showed that to me a few years ago.
Well, sorry to interrupt. I just want to tell you this. Have you ever watched Haunted Tourist on Netflix?
No.
Okay, that's amazing.
Gotta watch that.
This guy goes to all these like haunted, nuclear, crazy places around the world, and it's amazing. Like, he did an episode in Chernobyl.
That's so cool.
But he did an episode like where McKamey Manor was featured, and I think you would love it. I think you would love the entire series. There's only like 1 or 2 seasons. It's really good. He's super informative. He's super like neutral to the situation. He just tells you the facts of what happened there, and like, you know, essentially just shows you what's going on, and like goes places that most people won't go.
Right, yeah.
And so absolutely. So McKamey Manor was featured on there, so I definitely think you should check that out.
Cheers. This is great juice.
For legal purposes. So, I just got my face re-stabbed today, so I'm talking funny.
It looks so cute. I don't know how much it shows up on camera, but it's so cute. So, and I think maybe part of the reason that I do like this movie so much is because it's haunters, but it's like, but what if they found, like, what if they went to the McCamey Manor and that guy actually fulfilled that guy's, because I'm pretty sure that guy actually wants to murder. So, like, what if that guy actually was murdering?
For sure.
So that's kind of what this movie is. So we'll kind of go through the plot. I only have, like, I think 3 pages of notes.
Yeah, you know me. I just
because
try
there's
to keep
not,
it in.
yeah, there's not like a huge plot. Like, it stays on the plot, yes, but it's a very simple plot. They're literally just going from haunt to haunt to haunt, and it's got these little breaks in the middle of like scare actors and people going to the haunts and like little interviews
with them,
and it's literally haunters. I love it so much because everyone in this film feels so real. Mm-hmm. All the extras, all the background people just talking, it really does gives me that same feeling that Blair Witch gives me when they're talking to the townspeople.
Yes.
And that woman's got her little girl there, and the girl's like, well, no, don't talk about that. And she's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. It just feels so lived in and so, like, I shouldn't be watching this, kind of, like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So like Casey said, the premise, we have this group of friends. You learn throughout the movie, they've basically been friends throughout their whole lives. They hear about this super extreme haunt called the Blue Skeleton, but it's super hard to find. So essentially the whole movie is about them chasing this haunt because it is an extreme haunt that is supposed to be like on the move. Like, it's constantly somewhere different. So it's really, you have to know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, and that's of course why they want to find it, because it's so exclusive and all that. But of course they're just finding, little places along the way that are, hey, stop at this place. Oh, this place looks, it's in the backwoods and it's, run by a family and it's crazy and, yeah.
I thought there were a lot of haunted houses featured in this documentary that I would absolutely love to walk
100%.
through.
100%.
They all look super fun to me.
Yeah, except the last one, which is in a haunted house. So,
what?
I'm fine with it. It does say at the beginning there's like something like 2,500 attractions every October in the United States, which I totally believe. There's so many.
And like 30 million people.
Yeah, totally believe that. They did. So there is a story at the beginning of this scare actor whose prop stunt kind of went wrong and they hung themselves and they were like hung there for a while and people thought it was a prop. This is not a true story as far as I could find.
I'm sure that there have been people hurt in haunted houses. I believe that fully,
yes,
but
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think there's ever been an actual recorded case of someone seeing what they think is a prop or a fake thing and it actually being real. I can't find any actual verified info. If you guys know of any, send it my way. But I've just, it just kind of seems more urban legendy. Which I'm fine with, because this is a movie.
Yeah, and like you said, there are a lot of interviews with people, and, them talking to scare actors, and, they'll be like, so what do you think about, the fact that people say that there's actual human remains in your haunted house? And they'll be like, not far from what I've heard. And it's just, it seems so,
Because, of course, people are going to perpetuate that, because you want people to be like, oh, I wonder,
I have to go there.
I heard that this guy uses real skeletons. And, of course that's some shit that people would do. That's not, unless you're a huge corporation, like Disney, you're going to be like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't it be crazy?
Yeah, ooh, you'll never know. And that's, one of the points that the guy makes later is, well, but what if it really is real human body parts? And the guy's like,
I wouldn't be able to tell.
I wouldn't be able to tell, so it doesn't bother me, because I don't know either way. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's being tied up and shit like that. That's what scares me. That's what freaks me out. And I'm like,
no, thank you.
But, yeah, so we get this group of 5 friends. They rent an RV. Is it 5? Is it 5?
Yes. Did you catch the Descent reference? It starts with a picture of the 5 of them, and then it fades to black and white.
Oh my
It's
god!
so cliche, but I don't know if it's actually a reference to the Descent.
But that's how I love the Descent,
because it's that, and in
that
this
movie
one
horrifies me to this day.
In this one, it does not have the effect because you're just looking at these people, and it's like, oh, here's your cast, here's a picture of them, ooh, black and white. that movie, The Descent, when you see that picture at the end, it hits hard.
Because a bunch of fucking shit just
You just
down.
watch these girls go through so much, and it's a group of, like, really close friends, and you're just like, oh, wow, that was hard to watch. This is at the very beginning, and it's just like, oh, here are the 5 faces to look for.
That's really funny. Didn't notice that. We have to talk about The Descent one day, because I have thoughts. All good.
We'll cover it one day.
Yes.
We may just do, like, 1 and 2 all in one, just because I don't like 2 that much, so we might just, like, kind of half cover it.
Absolutely. Perfect. But, so they all get together, and they're going out and partying, getting fucked up the night before, as you do.
We do get this, prologue, like, end of the movie stuck onto the beginning of the movie as, like, a little scene setter. So we see a girl being stuck in a trunk, and then the trunk closes, there's a camera on her, and then she kind of wakes up, the screen goes, like, really red. And then that's when we get our title card, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it says...
Something like that. But I hate this beginning. I wish that it just started with, like, an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Because this really ruins the ending for me, because then I know what's happening. And it's you should see the exact same scene on the end.
Yeah.
And so I would love to just cut that part off and start with them with the haunted house stuff.
I also wish that, in addition to what you said, they had, like, a little title screen that said, this documentary was shot by 5 friends, and then the rest was shot by Blue Skeleton.
Yeah.
So I feel like we kind of maybe were spoon-fed a little bit too much in the beginning.
Right.
So I do agree with that, because...
And that was
we would have picked up on context clues that the rest was, like...
I feel like that was, like, whoever decided to put that is, I'm gonna stop some tweets, because then people would be like, well, what about this stuff at the end where the people are, like, trapped? Why are they recording? And it's like, well, because the people recorded it, the people who were doing it. It's like, yeah, but I feel like most people could come to that conclusion on their own.
Right.
Instead of being like... Because then if you explain it, then it's like, well, then did they make the movie and give it to whoever? Because then they're like... You can't read a lot into it. You just, like, a lot of found footage movies just
turn your brain
go for
off.
the ride.
Yep.
And that's kind of what you do here. But it makes more sense than some.
Yeah. So, like I said, they were partying, having a good time. There's a character named Mikey that is a complete fucking douche. He's the...
I had a really hard time.
Remembering all the names.
Yeah.
Bobby's the one that had, like, the kind of nice, like, hair. He was kind of handsome.
Regular white boy. Okay.
Well, that's hard to explain, because then there was Zach, and then the other guy, who I don't think I remember his name. The girl's name's Brandy, I know that.
I know Brandy, I know bearded guy.
That's
There's
Mikey.
Dark-haired leader.
That's Bobby.
Bobby, okay.
Zach is one of the generic white guys, and then
Yeah.
there's another generic white guy. They look exactly alike, it's confusing.
It's really
Isaac?
confusing. Maybe?
I don't know.
I just kind of meshed them into one, yeah, because there's leader guy, and there's bearded guy, and there's girl, and then there's the other 2.
Either way.
Yeah, but they're a fun, typical millennium group, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, they all meet up at the RV. Mikey was banging a chick in the RV, and she left. And then we get our first little days till Halloween, 5. And that's when we start our journey to our first haunt, which is where we get our first...
5 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 5 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. I wrote that so many times in my notes because every time I was like...
You gonna do that every time?
No, but I did in my head every time. I just wanted to do it this one time. I don't want people to stop following the podcast.
So this is where we get our first view at...
Them going through the haunt.
Them going through the haunt and creepy doll mask.
She
chick.
does come in. She is my favorite part of this movie.
I love her. She's terrifying.
Terrifying. Literally.
It literally doesn't look like a mask. It looks like it's her fucking head.
Yes. It literally looks like so attached to her skin, but it's like slightly off. As soon as she came on screen, Jeff went, "Oh my god, that's terrifying." And he doesn't usually have that reaction. He, like, typically laughs or, like, doesn't say anything. No, he went, "Oh god, that's terrifying."
She's got these, like, 3 hairs on her fucking head.
It's so fucking weird. And I love that, like, it's so not over the top. Like, this girl could be, like, making... Like, she does make one screech. But she could be making, like, Like, she could be doing the grudge thing. She could be doing
weird,
zombie
heavy
noise.
breathe.
It's literally just... And the way she opens her mouth just... It's so... Like, I think it's such a cool choice, and it's so creepy.
Yes.
So, yeah, we... But, yeah, when they're going through the haunt as a group, it feels so realistic. Like, they're screaming and
Brandy's
laughing.
giggling. She's screaming.
You yell, you laugh, you kind of fall over, and you're like...
it seems
huddled
very
together.
fun. That's how we are when we go through a haunted house.
It felt like me and my friends going through a haunted house. If you filmed us, that's what we would look like. A bunch of idiots just laughing and yelling at nothing. And,
we should sneak a GoPro in.
Right. And of course, there's always one of us that, is a little more scared than others. And, you kind of have to laugh at them.
It's neither of us.
No, when we went before, it was Ashley. I love you, but
we love you.
You were definitely the scaredy cat, but we kept
Except
you
for
in
the
the
doll
middle.
room. Except for the fucking doll room.
Yeah, that was
I was
a
like,
little
get me
much.
the fuck out of here. I'm gonna punch one of these dolls.
It was pretty scary. Yeah, I got hit with a doll in that room because one of them just, juts out of the wall.
I shoved them up front. I was like, no. I'll go back in the front after this. I was like, get me the fuck out of here.
It was a good haunted house. It really was.
It was so fun, yeah.
I love.
Nothing like this, but...
No.
So, they go through the haunted house. They're interviewing an actor, and they're like, we hear shady shit goes on here. And the scare actor is like, sounds about right.
You just do that. You kind of have to play along. It makes it more fun for the people.
Yeah.
Like, even if you know behind the scenes that, no, nothing's happening. It's like, ooh, yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I would do that.
So they got out of the haunted house, and then they had the bright idea to sneak up on the roof and film from up there, film the line and shit. And, there are people from the haunt who were, real pissed about it. And there was this clown who, was all up in their business, hey, fucking delete the footage, blah, blah, blah.
And I
tried to break the camera.
Right. And I meant to look up where they filmed all this, or if it was all sets, because... First of all the sets look so real.
Yeah.
Like, this is a haunted house. This is a commercial haunted house. And, even that scene that you're talking about where they're on the roof filming down at the line, the people...
That looked like Nightmare on Edgewood, when it was in its old, location.
It does. It looks like you're at a haunted house and people are, waiting outside. Everyone looks kind of cold. It almost looks like they, this crew that's filming this movie, Houses October Built, just went to a random haunted house wherever they're filming and filmed the crowd. But I don't think you can really do that, and I don't think they would do that at to get the rights to the 8 that they go to, or however many, I guess it's 6? 5. Okay. And it all seems, for what I assume is probably a pretty low budget, because most found footage is.
Maybe they let them do it under the premise of changing the city and changing the name of the haunt. Yeah, so that way, that could be where the fuck ever. But you still think they'd have to be no, you still have to pay us. Well, I'm sure that there was probably some sort of compensation. Yeah. Or maybe internet fame or something like that. They're here's the actual haunts. Yeah. Or maybe who knows? They really are sponsorship.
Just sets that are
I don't know.
Really well done.
I would like to know the budget of this film.
I need to look that up.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so there's some weird editing in this movie a little bit, and this is one of the scenes that I noticed, because they are talking to that clown that she was just talking about. That guy's all mad, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. He says that, tries to break the camera, he's doing all that. They get in the RV and drive away, and then it cuts, and they're in a field trying to leave. There's a lot of weird editing, yeah. But then there's, the clown, that same clown standing in front of their RV, and this, seems like it's a little further away. It just, it doesn't, I can't figure out where people are spatially a lot in this, and I don't know if that's on purpose, because it feels confusing.
I agree with that. Especially in the end. Mm-hmm. But I actually kind of liked the use of editing in the end, but we'll talk about that. Yeah. Yeah, so they park somewhere in a field, like you said. They think that someone's outside the RV. One of the dudes, I can't remember, goes to check, and his friend was pranking him. So we get a little false jump scare there.
That got me. It honestly got me. I don't know why. I just feel like I took a note and looked up, and I was like, okay.
Oh, it's you, Bobby.
That got me.
So then we go to the next day.
4 more days.
They're riding around to the next haunt, and they're so fucking stoned, goofy stoned.
I was last night too, I think.
One day for me.
No, okay. pause the podcast. I'm an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, somehow, last night, looking at the clowns in the movie, have you ever heard of the movie The Day the Clown Cried? So it's this, and I don't know, like, a whole lot about it, but I know it's a movie that, like, I think maybe 2 people on Earth have seen.
Are you one of them?
That fucked up? No, I want to be. And I literally wrote, man, I want to see The Day the Clown Cried. And I'm like, what? Time in. So I literally wrote, he's so high, dude, I've been there.
I said LMAO, they got so high.
This scene was hilarious when he's just, because I feel like a lot of movies, they don't portray pot right. They're like, oh.
But this was so, see things. Again, so authentic. Like, I felt like they were actually smoking pot.
He just was dying. Like, you could see the tears coming down
his eyes
face.
were so, like, they were laughing at the stupidest fucking shit. And, like, he said something about ice cream. He's like, because this guy that is super high is, like, all about organic shit. He's on a protein kick. You know, he's trying to be healthy. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I'll trade you 1 protein bar for a donut. And then he's like eating it. He's like, I made the right choice. And like, he's just laughing. And then the other guy says something about ice cream. And he's like, do you have any? And it's just like, we've all been there. And I thought it again, everything about this movie is so authentic. And that's what makes it.
Do you have Pop-Tarts?
Like, what do you mean you have cookies? Can I have cookies?
There was another, and this is such a minor little part of the movie, but this is something else that felt so fucking real, because I hate when people do this, when you have a bottle of beer, and someone takes their
Taps
bottle.
it.
First of all, Geoff does that to Katie a lot. Second of all, I hate when people do that. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I don't want the foam. But yeah, that just felt like such a real thing that you do to your friends.
Yeah.
Where you're just standing around a fire and just like clink, and then she's like, you don't want the foam?
I also love to prank my friends and scare them, so for me that was super fun. It did feel real.
Yeah.
But I did, they were talking about things that like really freak them out while they're on their way to this other haunt, and Brandy's like, I'm terrified of snakes. And they were talking about like shit like that. I'm like, I wonder if this is going to come back later. And I don't think the snake part did, but it's fun to see.
Yeah, but, it just feels like a conversation that you kind of have with your friends.
Yeah, so they stopped at a campsite because they're like, well, or somewhere in the middle of the woods, I don't really know, like outside of the haunt, because they're like, we have time to have a couple beers before we go in, and as they're like,
the zombie paintball, right?
Yeah, that's the zombie paintball. So they stop outside that haunt, and they pull up on this like area that has like a fire pit kind of already going. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, it doesn't look like anybody's here, so they just set up there for a bit, start having beers, and then this dude comes up on him, and I was like, ah! He's like standing behind Brandy, and it was like real creepy, and they were like, what? He's like, you enjoying my fire? And they're like, yeah, what are you doing out here? He's like, I live out here. And he was like, they're like, do you work at the haunt? He's like, yeah. And then like, you know, weird banter, and all of a sudden he said something backwoods. He's like, what do you mean by backwoods? And I was like, oh, you better shut the fuck up. And I love it that every time they like put their foot in their mouths when they say something, the camera cuts off. Because they're like, we're gonna stop filming here.
Yeah, we stop. They know when to stop filming. It makes so much sense, but it does give us a lot of funny cuts.
It does, yeah. Edits. It's camp for sure.
I love it.
But yeah, we get to the haunted house. So this is now what, 4 nights till Halloween?
Yeah, I think it's 4 more days. And
4 more days till Halloween. So we get
zombie paintball, which looks like so much fun, and I want to do that.
It looks like a blast.
Zombie paintball looks like so much fun. They're shooting the zombies.
And the zombies are falling over. It looks so fucking fun.
It does, yeah.
Because I love like shooter games, and I love shooting guns. That is like,
we should play Halo together. I have all the Halo games.
Okay. I used to watch my brother play Halo, so...
It's my favorite shooter game.
I love shooter.
And I have all of them. So.
I also like to play that, like, Nazi zombie game that was, like, what was it on, like, Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty... Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. It was, like, a side game.
I used to play Left 4 Dead, too. That was fun. That was a zombie game.
Yeah.
Anyways. So they eventually get back on the bus, and they see, like, someone outside. And they're like, that looks like the fucking
creepy doll
girl. And they're like, we're hundreds of miles from there. Like, and she's just standing there. So one of them goes out,
Mikey, his dumbass,
to talk to her, and then just like walks away and lets her follow him. Doesn't close the door behind him.
He just like, they're like, what the fuck, man? He's like, I don't know, man. And then she like gets on the bus, and they're like, what the fuck? He's like, she just kind of followed me in here. Like, it was really funny. And then she's just like,
oh, yeah. She gets
that
up and does
hurt. Ow.
that.
I hit my face.
It was a... Oh, that sucks. I was going to say that.
That was a pretty good hit, or screech.
It sounded just fucking like her, because that's what she does.
And it was like, so fucking creepy.
They're like...
And then she just, she like sat next to them on the bench and then just like did that, looked back and forth, looked back and forth, looked back and forth, screeched, and then she went, and she hissed, and then she just fucking left. It was, she needs to be our next gay icon. I don't know, there's something very like weird lesbian aura about her.
Or like something very envy about her.
Envy for sure.
Yes,
She's our envy horror, or they are our envy horror person.
They're terrifying.
They are terrifying.
I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's these little, we keep going back to these little segues of like other people going to haunts, and, you know, you'll get it just really does feel so real. Like, one of them is just like a random, like, dad-aged guy talking about, you know, this kind of stuff is, you know, whatever.
And how, like, one of them was like, they were, like, asking this guy, they're like, so you did community like, this is your community service? And I was like, I wish I could do community service at a haunted house.
Same. They ask, like, one of the people, they're like, do you do background checks on it? No.
But we're gonna try to, but as of right now, no.
And that is probably true for most. There was, oh my god, something just really, like, came back to me just now.
Coming back to me now.
So I volunteered at a haunted house for a couple years. So the house itself is a historical house. It was part of the Underground Railroad, but a bunch of slaves burned in the basement, and now it's like a historical house, but also is supposedly haunted. And then so every year they do a commercial haunted house for it. So I volunteered there for a couple years when I was in like middle school and high school. And the first year that I was there, it was me and a few other girls, because we were like the plant girls that would walk through with the group for a little while and they get taken away. So we were working with this guy, and he was super, super into it. You could tell he'd been doing haunts for years. He had really big ideas we were all just volunteering. Not one of us was getting paid. We got pizza at the end of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning when it ended, and that was it. But we loved it. Everyone there was so fucking into it.
If I had time, I would absolutely do it for free, because
That's why I'm so glad I did it when I was in middle school. And first of all, Mom, if you're listening to this episode, thank you forever for fucking driving me from our little town all the way into the city every Friday and Saturday night, and then picking me and Taylor Brown, who was on a couple of our episodes, up every fucking Friday and Saturday at 3 o'clock in the morning just because we loved it. So anyway, there was this guy, and he had the coolest ideas of like when we would get taken, we had this shirt that would like rip open and like guts would spill out, and you could just like put it all back in.
Oh, that's so cool.
And like a week before we started, and I still don't know what happened, but like there were some rumors about the guy that he was like being inappropriate, and then he ended up coming back the next year because I guess none of it actually happened. All I know is he was the nicest guy. I am never going to not believe someone, but I never heard it directly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was just like a really weird thing. And that just really came back to me. I forgot about that guy.
That's wild.
Until no background check happened. But yes, if you ever get the chance, do it. It is so much fun.
Fun.
I had such a blast. Like I said, we were the girl that, that got thrown over the shoulder of whatever was dressed up that night. Some nights it was Jason, Michael, Freddie, if they had a really good costume. Usually Michael or Jason. And, they'd pick you up, toss you over your shoulder. That was a few dozen pounds ago. And it was just, I've made people cry. I've made people scream. It is a blast. I would totally do it now if I had time.
So my aunt in Tennessee used to turn her barn into a haunt, and it was so fucking cool. And it would just be like a $3 donation that they would put back into the community.
Right.
And they would make a bunch of food. Like, it was all, like, free, basically. People would bring their kids, and it was just, like, the family volunteering. Like, my sister and I always loved to get dressed up and scare people. And one year, I was dressed up in, like, all black overalls, like, gloves. You couldn't see an inch of skin on me. And then I had the pig mask from Saw. And it was one of those rooms where it's like all mannequins, but one real person with a strobe light. And so you didn't know it was me. So when I'd like jump out at people, it would freak them the fuck out. But I mean, like in this town that my sister lived in, it's a small town and there's a lot of like, you know. And one of them grabbed me by my fucking overalls and slammed me into the barn.
Oh!
And my sister was around the corner and I heard her come around and be like, you need to get the fuck out. Don't you put your fucking hands on her again. And he's like, I don't even know it was a chick. My sister's like, get the fuck out. And I was like, thank you, Tiffany.
And that kind of stuff happens at real haunts. I mean,
watch Haunters. Yeah, that one lady who said
one of the greatest
icon.
scares of all fucking time. Like, truly.
Universal Halloween Horror Nights. If I could have seen her in her heyday, like, that would be amazing. I love that woman. But yeah, she's got, like, back problems for the rest of her life. Now, she can't even do what she used to do. Because people have done these awful things to her, need her in the back, and all these other things. Punched her, stepped on her.
And like, I get being scared, but
if your fight or flight is to punch someone when you're scared,
go to therapy.
Yeah, don't go to a haunted house.
So, speaking of the Saw thing that you did, the second year that I did it, so the first year we were in the woods, and it was, whatever horror guy was out there. Second year that I did it, we would go down to the basement, and you would stop with the group, and it would start with a TV, and it would do that, I want to play a game, and it would go through a whole little thing, and right at the end, Pigmask would jump out and grab me, and we would take, like, this, hidden hallway down, like, through a way, so that the rest of the group had to, like, go a long ways, and when they came back out, or came around this one corner back to where I was, I had my hands up in the
glass
thing
box
from the second one.
Oh my god, that one makes me so mad.
I was wearing long sleeves until that point, so then I'd like pull my arms up and I had like blood all over my arms and stuff. It was so fucking cool. People would come around and they'd be like, "Aw, man, you," because they'd be like, "Oh, the girl." Yeah, it was so much fun, and yeah, I fucking hate that one because why didn't you just like?
Exactly, it makes me so mad every time. But anyways. I have another fun one. This one's actually fun. Kind of. So in a different year when we were in the haunted house, my sister, I think we did it 3 years, because one time I was a pig demon. The other time my sister and I dressed up as, like, crazy, like, mental patients. And then the last year I did it, which was my favorite, was I was basically, like, Reagan in The Exorcist. So there was a bed, and I was laying on it, and I had, like, the nightgown and socks, and I was, like, I had a fucking long black wig on. I scared the shit out of people. I was throwing myself around. Because the bed was basically, like, a piece of wood. So, like, when I was banging my whole body around, it was loud. And then, like, I had a little bit to drink. I was a little too young to drink at the time. So I was like, we took a break and I ate a bunch of chili because my family makes really good food. And then I went back in there, and after throwing myself around one time when a group was coming through, I puked, and people thought it was part of the thing. And they were like coming out, they're like, the chick in the bed was the scariest part of this.
Man, the puke looks so real. And you're like, oh,
yeah, that was chili and cheap vodka is what that was.
So bad coming up. And yes, I 100% believe that her family makes good food because they're from the South.
Oh my god.
Just makes sense.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the those are our fun haunted house stories.
That was one of our segues.
Yeah.
So I know one of the next ones they go to is called Terrorplex because I thought that was a cool name, so I wrote it down.
Yes. So now it's 3 days till Halloween. This one again is a small backwoods haunt. This one might have been my favorite haunt.
It was really cool. The spooky bunny.
Yes.
That chased. So one of main guy, right, goes into the woods, or is it one of?
It's not Bobby. It's
one of generic white guys goes into
Zach
the woods.
or Isaac or
And because he has to pee, and he's like, "Oh, the line was really long," and they're like, "Go piss in the woods."
We're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Which, like, yeah, if you're a dude, that's like one of the best parts about being a dude. Just go pee, especially in the middle of nowhere. So, he does that, but then, like, as he's about to pee, like, this bunny's, like, this really scary bunny's, like, staring at him, and then he runs after him.
With an axe.
And it's so funny, because, like, he's screaming and, like, just stop following me, what are you doing? And then he, like, falls down, and the guy, like, you can hear him laughing inside the suit. He's like, ha, and then he just, and, like, hops away, and the guy's like, what the fuck?
That was so funny.
If I was, like, if that actually happened and I was the scare actor in that suit, I'd be like, I'm so proud of myself.
But, yeah, so this haunt actually looks really fucking scary.
It does.
I think it looks really cool. I'd love to go through this one. But towards the end, there's this, like, weird woman who has this, like, she's got this, like, really, she looks like she's wearing a skin suit. Like, she's so thin and sunken in. She's got this long hair, and her lips are, like, this big on her mouth. Everything else about her face is normal, but her lips are this big, and she's like, Brandy, you're gonna fucking die. And I was like,
it was terrifying. There was something, and like I was telling Jeff, I kind of feel the same way about Dollface. Not Stranger's Dollface, but this Dollface.
Both great.
It's that very uncanny valley. Like, it's human, but it's like,
and you know that shit freaks me out.
Just slightly off.
Like I said, she looked like a human, but her fucking mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, like, trying to, like, reach out with her creepy, gray, weird, baggy skin. Ooh.
No, thank you.
Nope.
No.
Oh, no.
Why did I write, ew, that guy's being gross? Probably the
I
guy being
have to
gross.
assume it was Mike.
Or
Because I hate him.
I think it was actually one of the scare actors.
Oh, to Brandy?
Yeah, probably. Because then...
Being the only woman in that troupe really fucked her, unfortunately.
But, like, those guys were pretty fucking protective of her.
They
one of them's
were,
her
but
brother. Which one was her brother? I know it wasn't main guy. Was it Beard Guy?
I don't know. I'm going to look up the cast so we can...
Yeah, I just know that one of them was her
Beard
brother.
Guy was not her brother because he made a comment about...
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Heavy petting.
Yeah.
And if her brother made that comment, I'd be like, oh, y'all are backwoods.
Yeah. So, but before we get to the scene I was just about to talk about, there is a very scary scene of all of them being filmed while they're sleeping, and then the next day they find it online. But for some reason, main guy and whoever don't tell the rest of the group, bitch, that is information I need to know.
All of their names are their actual names.
Remember how I said it reminded me of Blair Witch? Because that's exactly what they did in that movie. Pretty sure that's what they did in Paranormal Activity, too. Because I think that woman's name is Katie. I don't remember, though.
Oh
I
my
could
God.
be wrong.
I
I know
think
Blair
right.
Witch.
I think you're right.
Blair Witch is, though. That woman's name is Heather.
So it's Brandy, Zach, Bobby, Mikey, and Jeff.
Which ones are related? Do any of them have the same last name?
Mikey and Bobby. Mikey Rowe and Bobby Rowe. Okay, Mikey and Bobby are brothers.
I thought one of them was related to her.
I don't think so.
Oh, well.
I think, yeah.
I just kept hearing sister for some reason. I don't remember. But anyway, they don't...
Oh, and Bobby's also the director. That's so cool.
Wow. Bobby was main guy?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Directorial debut of Bobby Rowe.
That's
And
awesome.
it was produced by Zach Andrews and Steven Schneider.
That's awesome.
And they both star in the film as well.
That sounds really familiar.
Let me see who he plays.
Click on his
And,
Oh, okay, never mind.
but
anyway,
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Okay, I'm also going to look up the budget because I'm really curious.
Movie's
But keep
amazing.
talking.
And I mean, directorial debut and starring in the film, and it's found footage. That is quite an accomplishment because this movie fucking rocks.
And all their own actual names. I
was
love
gonna say, look
that
up what else
shit.
Bobby Rowe has done, because I would be more interested to see. Because if this is his directorial debut, I assume he
did the second one as well.
Makes sense. He did the second one. So, oh yeah, this is another weird editing thing, I feel like, because they find a heart in the fridge, but
That
then
was weird.
nothing comes of it, and it was just kind of weird. I wrote, they go to a bar later that night, and I wrote, I want to go to this bar, never mind. You want to know why? Because that's the bar that Brandy gets fucking quartered in.
So, he has done so far House October Built, a music video, House October Built 2, and then Isolation, which I feel like I've heard of this. Ooh! It's an anthology!
Nice!
9 Tales of Terror weave together the story of isolated citizens around the world as they confront their darkest fears in an attempt to survive an increasingly deadly outbreak.
Love that.
So that was 2021. Nice. So we'll have to check that out.
We're going to be doing an anthology in a few weeks, a Stephen King anthology. There's a little hint for y'all because in 2 weeks starts our Stephen King summer, or summer of Stephen King, however you feel. And I'm so excited. So we're going to do one of his anthology movies somewhere in the middle there. We are starting with his new movie, The Boogeyman, which comes out June 2nd in theaters. Please go see it. Please, I need all the Stephen King adaptations I can take. If you want to read the short story that it's based on, it's called The Boogeyman. It's in his book, Night Shift. It's one of his shorter short stories. So good. I cannot wait for the movie.
I'm excited. The trailer looks creepy.
Yeah, so we're going to start with that. And then we're just going to do a bunch of his shitty movies that I really love. So yeah, look forward to that.
But, sorry, back to this.
Yeah, so they go to a bar because they're looking for Mr. Giggles? Is
that
what it is?
Well, before that, they went to a strip club, and the strippers were all, this is not important, but I want to talk about it. So many great tits.
A lot of great tits.
And they were all, like, wearing, like, Halloween masks.
I really want to go to that bar.
I just started salivating. I'm so
gay.
If you look
is the end of that sentence gay?
Yeah, it was.
The end of that sentence.
If you look like any of the strippers in this movie, even if you don't.
Yeah. Text me, beat me if you want to reach me, you know what I'm saying?
So, Mikey was hitting on one of the haunt workers at the next haunt they went to, which is hilarious. He was, like, so fucking creepy.
Pulls. That's the thing. He pulls in this movie, and I hate him for it.
He's just like, oh, so you're, like,
Ladies
super
like
flexible, like, show me. He's like, oh, you got a sexy little thong there. I was like,
that's what it was. That's when I wrote, ew, this guy's being gross.
Oh, yeah. It was 100. I told you it was Mikey.
I have been in this situation where you, like, go for, like, a hangout, but he's being so over the top.
And it's like, you ever fucked anyone in makeup? You ever fucked anyone in the haunt? And I'm like,
oh and then, yeah, like, oh, you're flexible, show me. And then he, like, scoots
sexy
closer and
little
just, like, starts touching her. And I'm just like,
can I touch your makeup? I'm like, no, that took hours to do. Get the fuck off of her.
It felt so real that, like, it's... I have to, like, separate the character from the actor, because I don't know if that guy is like that, but that character sucks.
Mikey, we hope you're better than this. But anyways.
I was good to you, Mikey.
I was good to you, Mikey. Oh my god, I love Danny Trejo with my whole heart and soul.
Next time we go to a horror convention, we have to get a montage of us. Michael. Every time we see anyone dressed as Michael Myers, we just pass by. Michael?
We tip our hats.
Yes, because they do nothing in response, and it's hilarious.
It's just so stupid. Even the kids, we were just like, Michael. We have to.
Because there's always a million of them.
And we just started doing it. I don't even think we had a discussion about it.
Nope.
We just started doing it.
Michael.
We tip our hats in respect.
It is pure respect.
But Zach, so they go through this haunt, and they're like, the rest of the group is kind of getting annoyed because they're like, okay, these are all like cool, but they're not like what we had in mind. And Zach was talking to these dudes that let him know about like the blue skeleton, and that also this haunt they wouldn't let them film in. So they respected that and didn't, but as they're trying to leave and they're like really excited that they have this new information, they need to go to Louisiana is what they've been told. Mm-hmm. So the clown, this piece of shit clown comes out and he's like, you've been trying to film me, blah, 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 blah. You give me your tape, and like almost fought all of them and like said like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. Fuck her. Like, talking about Brandy. And they, like, really are protective over her, which I love.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they really treat her like a little sister.
Yeah.
But it was really funny when they got back in the...
Because as soon as anything goes down in these... Like, starts to go down in this movie, they, like, go in front of her. They tell her to get in the RV. They, like... I honestly love the way that they treat her in this movie.
They really do. Yeah, they really do. Like, Mikey made one weird comment to her, but, like, that just seems like his personality in this movie. Asshole. Like, we're meant to hate him.
When you get a big enough group of guys, one of them's just gonna be an asshole, and they still continue to hang out with him because it's like, whatever. But one of them's inevitably just gonna be like,
well, especially since
he's the asshole friend.
He's supposed to be, like, the main guy's brother. So it's kind of like he has to be there, you know?
Exactly. And that makes a lot of sense, you know? So they do go to this bar where they're asking for them, and they're like, or asking for Mr. Giggles, and they tell him to sit down for a while. And they, like, keep yelling at them for filming, because they don't want them to film or whatever. And they just kind of have the camera sitting on the table, not, you know, like, pointed at anything. It's just kind of sitting there. And they all kind of go out, but Brandy, because, okay, first of all, this is so something that I know so many guys would do, because they're all sitting around at the bar, and she's like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. They're not going to go to the bathroom with her because there's no other girls. If there was another girl, of course she's going to go. While she's in the bathroom, all 4 guys stand up and go outside to do something. Talk to Mr. Giggles.
They made like, as the people in there were preying on that situation, because they saw her go to the bathroom. They went over to the guys and said, put the camera down. If you want to see Mr. Giggles, you go outside now.
Yeah.
And that's when the other dudes that were still in the bar...
I just feel like one of them should have been, like...
I agree.
And it's not really even, I would say...
But men don't think about that.
I want to debate whether it is the character themselves, because as we've seen the characters so far, one of them would have remembered. One of them would have been like, I'm not leaving without Brandy. Or is it a writing thing of, like, they just wanted to get them outside? Because these characters feel
You're right, though. I mean, they did seem very protective over her throughout the rest of the movie.
It also just, they may have been so scared, you know, in that situation, because everyone's very fucking threatening in this bar, obviously.
I mean, there's literally, like, only people that are, like, haunt actors, and they're, like, weirdly sitting at the bar and, like, creepily dancing. And you can tell they, like, don't want them there because they're, like, being mean, and they obviously don't want them filming and all this other stuff. Oh, thank you. So anyway, while Brandy's in the bathroom, 3 guys come in and corner her, and it's so uncomfortable. Ooh, it's hard to watch. I hate it. So eventually she gets outside of the bathroom, and the guys are back in, and, like, the camera turns off pretty quickly right after that, because they take the weird guys. And they're like, "You want to make a movie? Let's do something fun."
But as soon as our guys come back in, they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And like I said, they are very protective.
Yeah, they would. I think every single one of those guys would do anything for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
because even at the end, when everything's going wrong, they're like, "Brandy, where's Brandy? You have to. Don't leave Brandy."
Yeah, someone stay with her. Aww. But they go back to the RV.
Good boy.
They're freaking out. All of a sudden, they hear banging on the RV, and the lights go out.
Scare of the movie.
And they turn the engine on.
It got me
to try to get the lights in the RV to come back on. And when the lights on the front of the RV come on, the headlights come on, it's like 30 fucking creeps. Like the clowns that we saw, like that one big-headed clown with the creepy eyes.
Doll face.
Just,
they're all standing perfectly still in a row of, like, tall grass, and they're just standing there, just...
in front of the RV.
It is terrifying.
And then...
Yeah, the lights go out again, and then it comes back on.
And they're gone.
Just a couple seconds later, and they are all...
without a fucking trace, without a sound. It was so good. It was terrifying.
Yeah, that really got me. That was my favorite scare in the movie.
So that was it for that night. We cut to the next day, which is... Halloween! No more days till Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween. Happy Halloween. Silver shamrock.
Deepers, creepers.
That's us. If you didn't know that.
Like already. And subscribe. Smash that like button.
Consensually, of course. So
they get the blue masks. They go to
Bourbon Street.
Yeah. Fuck doing that on Halloween. It looks insane enough. No. You cannot navigate through that. Somehow they're looking for other people with the blue masks.
Brandy is so over it. You can tell just in the filming that she wants to go home.
Of course, after what happened last night in the
bathroom. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I'm with her.
Please take me home.
But they, like, parked the RV in the middle of nowhere, and they woke up to a bang on the outside of the RV, and then they found a fucking pumpkin outside the door that said, "Carve me," and that's how they found the invitation. Inside of a pumpkin. How'd it get in there?
Did they grow it in there? How'd that work?
That's a great question. I was thinking that, too.
Magic. She's a witch.
You were supposed to talk about it on YouTube.
Burn the witch.
I don't
She's
like
so
being hot.
fucking hot.
I don't like being hot. I want to be cold. Freeze me to death.
She's already on fire because she's so sexy.
This witch is on fire. That's a reference to Taylor when she said this girl's on fire because that was fucking hilarious.
It was. It really was.
Anyways, so we're on Bourbon Street. I put Bourbon Street on Halloween seems lit, but I also put we can't let Brandy out of our sight. Next thing you know, lets Brandy out of their sight.
Yes. This is more of that weird editing because they're just walking around. I don't have a sense of where they are. I don't know who has the camera. I don't know who's in front of the camera. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know where they're going. And then once they do all inevitably get caught, I don't know where. I don't know how it happens. I can't figure out where they are.
Well, the first one that got yoinked was Jeff in the dark alley. He thought he was...
Jeff?
Yes.
I thought it was Isaac and Zach.
I was wrong. It's Zach and Jeff. Bobby, Mikey, Zach, Jeff, Brandy.
No, not Jeff.
Well, Jeff's the first one that got yoinked. He got
yoink.
And he followed what he thought was Bobby down a dark alley because it was like someone in like the exact same hoodie and a blue skeleton mask, which is what they were wearing to try to like show the blue skeleton people they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does that say? Oh yeah, so they're like, well, we don't know where the fuck Jeff is, but we're gonna go to this address and...
Yeah, and then when they get there, they like get the phone call, or no, yeah, because they get the phone or the text that's like, you have to come outside or you're not gonna see your friend alive.
And the fucking... Oh, before that, the bus, like, they shatter the windows and it's like super fucking loud and the lights go out, and that's when they get the text that says 60 seconds, come outside or your friend will die.
Yep. And then eventually they
45.
Yeah, and then eventually they end up at some place. Again, I don't have a good idea of who's where or where they are. I do know at one point, beardy guy is behind like a two-way mirror kind of thing. And
that was really cool because that was like a reference to one of the earlier haunted houses.
Yes, and I laughed really hard because at one point, main guy is like, "Your props are really fucking scary, okay?" Like it really got me.
So they dropped Mikey off because they put them on a bus, hooded.
Mm-hmm. Drop him off. Drive a little ways.
Then dropped Zach and Bobby off.
Yep.
Drove a little ways.
That's when they're like, "Don't leave Brandy."
They're like, "Don't leave Brandy alone. Someone stay with her," but they couldn't because they were like tied up and hooded. So they just like. Then the guy was like, you can see this guy in a creepy skull mask right behind her on the bus, just like heavy breathing, and she's just like freaking the fuck out under the hood as anyone would. But then they take Brandy off the bus, and as he was telling her, he's like, take this mask or take the hood off in 30 seconds, and there's a camera next to you, record everything you see. And this is what I really like next. This is the time that I really like the editing being so sporadic and weird because everything is so dark that the settings all kind of like blend together and they like cut between like Bobby and Mikey and Brandy and Zach like super fucking quickly. So you like...
This is where the editing kind of works for me.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, who is it now? Because then like the only reason I knew was because like my subtitles said Zach breathing or like Brandy blah 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 because I'm a subtitles gal through and through.
Same.
I can't hear without my subtitles. Same. But I thought the editing here was really creepy and confusing in a good way. But throughout the rest of the movie, I agree with you. But in this moment, it totally works.
It works here because this is the climax. Totally. This is the climax. This is when things really are. Shit is getting real. It
has hit the fan.
Bad. And I think it works. Agreed. So eventually we're cutting back and forth between them. They're in the coffins. Hers looks so much different.
That's what I said. I said, why does everybody else get a fucking casket
and she's in a
padded and she's in a wooden fucking coffin that is like, everybody else is in these comfy, but...
It reminded me of VHS 99. I watched that the other day. I loved it, you guys.
I need to rewatch it because 94 is Ratma, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to rewatch 99.
I loved 94. Me and Katie loved 99. We watched it the other day. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
The second one's my favorite to this day. We should cover that in
Which
found
one's
footage.
the second one? Viral?
No, it's just called VHS 2.
Okay.
And it's the one with, like, the mass, like, suicide and, like,
I like 2. I love 1. Hate Viral.
Viral's the worst.
Love 94. 99 is up there. There are some good ass shorts, and the overarching thing, like, is like that claymation of like the little army dudes. So
yes. Okay, I need to revisit it because it's. I think I was really drunk.
Just because I'm a prisoner of war doesn't mean we can't be friends. That's exactly what that means. It's so fucking funny.
Oh my god, I love it. I need to rewatch it.
Anyway, there's one of the shorts that they're also in a pine box. It's a buried alive scene, and those always get me. Always.
I'm super claustrophobic.
I was rewatching Kill Bill Volume 2 recently, and that scene is so hard to watch.
But yeah, so they're in these coffins. Brandy is like, the camera's in there with them, right on their face, and she mentioned earlier how super claustrophobic she was, so this just seems like the final thing. She just looks so defeated. She's not even, like, really screaming at first. She's just like, because she woke up after being thrown in the trunk, and then she was, like, just in there, and she was just like, well, this is how I go. And, like, it was just really fucking sad. And then I said, all the men are in coffins. Oh, wow. I don't know what that says. But all the fucking coffins are super padded except for hers. I was so pissed.
They're in like a real modern casket, and she's in a pine box.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that was... We get a scene a little bit earlier we didn't talk about that was, like, Bob, like, it's completely black, but Bobby sounds like he's either being punched or stabbed or something.
Yeah. When they're in that two-way thing, the legs go out, so that's, I assume, when he died. No, because he was still alive during the casket scene.
Mikey was. Yeah. We only saw Mikey and Brandy at the end.
That's true. That is very true.
So, or we might have saw one more, but it was mostly Mikey and Brandy. But yeah, then we just get the final House is October Built credit scene.
And I love this movie.
I do too.
So, I am going to spend a couple minutes talking to y'all, giving a PSA about something I feel deeply about how we should shut down McCamey Manor.
The man is a fucking creep.
He is disgusting.
He should be able to afford a dentist.
He is psycho. The one plus that I do see about McCamey Manor is that at least he's not actually fucking murdering people, because I think if we took it away, he might actually.
I was just going to say that he donates animal food.
Yes, that is also true. He does.
That was the one plus for me. But yeah, I mean, didn't someone have a heart attack in there?
Yeah, but no one's ever died.
That we know of.
And that's on that.
I'm pretty sure it's shut down at this point.
No.
He's still going?
No, he just had to move locations.
Again?
Still going, yeah. So, there are extreme haunts. So most of what most of you listening have been to, if you've been to a haunted house, you've been to what's called a boo scare house. And it's, people jump out at you. You walk through and, people jump out, things make noises, blah, blah, blah. You get to the end. That's it. That's what most typical commercial haunted houses are. There are things that have come to light in the last, probably the last 10, 15 years. Because, things get scarier. Standards get higher. If you look at the standards of dancing, sports, whatever back in the day versus now, standards just keep getting more and more ridiculous. Same for movies, same for scares.
Yeah, Psycho was terrifying to people at one point. The Exorcist. And now it's like we have to top ourselves to be afraid because we're so desensitized, which is what causes these extreme haunts, because people are just like, oh, it's not enough to just be like, because in the back of your mind, this is all fake. But when you lose your sanity and you can't distinguish the difference between reality and the falsity that you're going through, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. It's usually like an adrenaline-seeking kind of thing. So most extreme
I'll jump out of a fucking plane before I go to McCamey Manor.
There's like Blackout, and there's a few other places. Blackout, I think, is one of the most famous.
I don't think I would be able to go to Blackout.
There is a safe word for blackout. And I will say one of the differences. So anyway, extreme haunts, typically you're going through a place, but it's not people just jumping out at you. It's people grabbing you. It's people tying you up. It's doing like really crazy things. One of the things that separates blackout from the rest that I would never do, there are simulated acts of assault.
That's exactly why, I couldn't.
A lot of other, actually, I don't think there are any other extreme haunts, including McKamey Manor, that do anything like that. Do any kind of sexual part of it. So that's it. But in most extreme haunts, and all except for McKamey Manor, you have a safe word. As soon as you say the safe word, come on, you're done. McKamey Manor, you have to go through a whole thing. You have to sign a bunch of waivers. You are there for as long as he feels like you should be there. There are no safe words to get out. And this is not just like tying you up and yelling in your face. This is... You
have to eat your own vomit and feces. They waterboard you.
Waterboarding. This is half drowning. This is sticking you in a freezer and leaving you for their long periods of time. This is cutting your hair. This is...
Did you see the video on YouTube of like this girl exposing them? Like that was used to be a worker for him, and like she was showing this video of like this... It might have been... It might have been the guy. I can't remember his first name, but he is... McKamey,
yeah.
But with a chainsaw while a person is strapped to a table with an actual blade on it, and he's like, I really can't from this angle see how close I am to your face, but I'm just hoping for the best, and I'm just like, that could have fucking killed a person. He was this far away from their face with a real fucking chainsaw,
and that's literally what he says when they interview him is. Anything to get the shot. He just wants to...
He wants the money shot.
He wants the videos to upload to YouTube because that's where he gets all of his fucking money and shit. And because to get in, all you have to do is donate cans of dog food because he rescues greyhounds. That's great. Awesome. Good for you.
The only good thing about this man.
It just... And I get that, like... It might not sound that bad the way I'm describing it, but, like, you truly cannot get out in these instances. There are accounts of people who truly did not feel safe, who did not feel okay, thought they were going to die, came out, needed therapy. He has tricked people into doing it. He's tricked his neighbor into doing it twice, saying, like, as soon as you say, it's time to go, I'll let you go, I promise. And then keeping you there for 12 plus hours. This is not a regular, normal, fun experience. Anybody out there, if you're a listener, if you're a friend, if I know you and you are considering that, please come to me because you need help. You desperately need help or you don't know what you're getting into. This is a disgusting fucking display of anything. And it should not be considered a haunt of any kind or an extreme haunt.
It's a disgusting fetish for this guy.
It is a torture fetish palace. Whatever you want to call it, it is not a haunt. It has nothing to do, it does not stand for what I think the haunt industry stands for. Yeah. And
not everything has to be the biggest, the baddest, the most over the top.
And if you like extreme haunts, that's fine, but there is a line to draw.
If there is a place that doesn't have a safe word, and that you, like, even in the documentary, he was talking about, like, oh, well, like, if there's, like, a medical emergency, we'll stop it, or whatever, but he's like, mental health matters. And he's like, when people have anxiety or panic attacks, I'm just like, oh, get over it. But if you've ever been a person who has anxiety or mental health issues and you've had a panic attack, you know that you feel like you're fucking dying.
Yeah, imagine having a panic attack while being waterboarded.
Your brain is telling you that you're dying.
No matter how much you beg and plead and scream and cry for him to let you go, he will not let you go. That's what he wants.
It's disgusting.
Even in that documentary, there are videos that he uploads. Please don't go look up his YouTube because that's what he wants. Yeah. But there are videos, like, you just see people literally go into shock. Like, just like, I'm not okay.
Yeah, just like dead behind the eyes.
I am 100% okay with my boo scares. I love my small rush of adrenaline when they jump out and scare me and I laugh and I walk away. I just love seeing the props and the work and I appreciate the actors.
They yanked my pigtail.
When it's an act. The people who work for him, and I understand a lot of them are teenagers, but they are teenagers with issues.
100%. And also, like
they're not actors. They're just taking out aggression.
Just got out of... And I'm not saying anything about people in prison, but, like, people who got out of prison for, like, violent offenses and, like...
And want this for... It's not... If you want to be there for the sake of, I want to scare people, I want to give them that experience, that's fine.
But
when
these people...
But you watch these interviews, and that's not what these kids are saying behind the scenes.
They're like, saying, I want to fuck people up.
I really want to fuck people up. I've got this anger in me, and I just want to take it out on someone. That is where I draw the line. That is not an act.
That is early stages of, like, something seriously wrong.
That's going to be you working there for a certain amount of time, and then it's not going to be enough, and you're going to want to take it further. And you're going to want to actually start hurting people.
Yeah. And then you might, if you can't do it there, you might do it in your life. Your day-to-day life.
It's what I fear of the guy who fucking runs McCain Manor, is that one day it's not going to be enough, and he's actually going to fucking murder someone.
I'm surprised,
if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's disgusting. I hate him. I love haunted houses other than that. I really wanted to try to go to Halloween Horror Nights this year, but I don't think I can afford it. We're going to Vegas, so I was going to try to take us.
Will you go next year with me?
Oh my god, yes, please.
We're going to go next year. I'm probably going to go this year. If I can, that'll be my next major trip to my best friend, Rabbit, that lives in Florida. Always lets me stay with her. And
so anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it. This was probably a more appropriate episode for October, but I don't care. Every day is Halloween in this house.
And I picked it, so fuck off.
Fuck off. I think next week is probably going to be Strangers Pray at Night. If for some reason we don't get that done, that'll come later. We'll try to get that in. And then Stephen King Summer. It's summer. I cannot wait. First of all, summer is the best. I love summer. Blah, blah, blah. And then I love Stephen King.
Summer.
And yeah, I just I hope you all enjoy the journey that we go on with that, because it's gonna be fucking crazy. His mind is a crazy place to be.
Everyone is so excited about it. They're like, when are you guys starting? When are you guys starting? When are you guys starting?
I'm so excited.
Brian, I'm talking to you if you're watching this.
2 weeks
it's
from...
coming.
Yep, 2 weeks from when this airs, because we have one more movie. I think we're going to do Strangers Pray at Night, and then that's when Stephen King Summer starts.
I'm going to go listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart after this.
That's how we sing things around here.
I feel like I'm like, once upon a time, look at fucking... Upon a time I was falling in love.
Baby.
Now I'm only falling apart.
And now the mic's all wet. And so am I.
Anyways, thank you for watching.
We love you all.
If you've made it this far, thank you.
They didn't. It's fine. Like and subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Deepers Creepers, TikTok, Deepers Creepers Pod, deeperscreeperspod@gmail.com with questions, comments, concerns, requests. And if you want a birthday shout out, we're going to do that too. Even if you don't have a request, just be like, hey, my birthday's this day, and we'll shout you out that week, whatever. And then, but until next week,
stay spooky. Bye.